Hey everybody, it's me, Oliver the Ricketts, here for it's a midnight stream. That's what we're doing. We're streaming, and it's not really midnight. It's more like, what time is it? I can't see my clock. It's 12:47. So if you're here, go to bed. But first, listen to me talk about Spider-Man 2. If you know me, you know that I have a sordid history with video games. I've played exactly one of them on this YouTube channel. We've never done a lot of game coverage here, but it is something that I would like us to do more of on the channel because I think that there's a big overlap in people that watch some of the things that I normally put out and people who like to play games, people who like to have fun. I'm not a big fun guy. I'm more into business and pain. I love suffering. And that's about that. But with me today, since I don't know anything, you know what? Back it up. Sometimes I'll post a video and it'll be edited, and then I'll be able to cut out the parts where I say things that don't make it in. But you're just going to have to suffer through this one because honestly, there's so much good Spider-Man stuff coming out right now that I'm trying to cover, including the Spider-Man Whopper, which I made a video about today. A+, and that's why it's the first Spider-Man thing that I mentioned. Across the Spiderverse coming out this week, another review coming for that. And then Insomniac went ahead after waiting all year and dropped probably the most anticipated Spider-Man thing of the year, which is the Spider-Man 2 gameplay reveal. And even though I don't really play games, I've never played a lot of video games, I gotta stop and do something for that because I believe that the first game is one of the best Spider-Man stories that is easily accessible to people out there right now. So, with me today is my brother, Theodore Ricketts, who has played maybe more than one game, and tell him about it. How many games do you think you've played?
At least two.
At least two?
One of them was the first Spider-Man game.
One of them was the first Spider-Man game.
I'm pretty qualified.
And I think you're probably more qualified than me. I was doing a thing where I was talking about these games, the first game, these games. I was talking about the first game on the channel. I was playing through it, and it was really frustrating. And I feel like a lot was going into making those videos that then it just like was a video of a guy being angry at a game controller, so we stopped doing that. But we're going to try to cover this one a little bit more. Also, one night I was just looking for some Spider-Man stuff, and I wound up watching the whole game as a movie on YouTube. So I'm really looking forward to playing about 45 minutes of this game, and then watching it on YouTube. What are your general thoughts and opinions on the first game?
I think the first game is great.
Riveting,
I know. I got the first game spoiled for me by my
sad
friend Evan, like 2 days before I bought it. I was sitting in the car with him and his mom, and we were driving home from somewhere, and he shows me a video of the crab dancing meme. And it just says...
What is the crab dancing meme?
It's like the Crab Rave song.
Hold on.
And it's a bunch of crabs dancing.
Wait. Hold on. What is this? Well, let's flip on the desktop audio for a second. What is this?
This is Crab Rave.
Es ver tu entrega y tus ganas. Por eso nos reinventamos con más valor, más cobertura, más confianza. En USPS nos entregamos como tú.
El United States Postal Service.
Do you think the U.S. Postal Service is going to copyright strike this video?
Maybe.
What is this, Ted? What am I looking at here?
So people would play the dance for this, and like the music with it, and put text of people dying.
Oh.
And the crabs are dancing and celebrating that person died.
How far in do I need to go for... At least this was a fictional... I'm assuming it was Aunt May?
Yeah. It's not this.
It's not...
Just
this
type in
crab dancing
type
is not...
This is it, but this isn't the section that people did that with.
All right, let's try to find this crap. This is quintessential to us talking about Spider-Man 2. Crab dance.
Crab rave.
First of
Just
all,
crab rave.
learn how to spell crab.
Crab rave.
Crab rave.
Yeah. Is there a short version?
There's 10 hours. I feel like that's a safe bet.
This is it, yeah.
What are we looking at here?
They're all, like, it's building up to, like, to the person dying.
It's Sebastian from the new Little Mermaid, where it's just a real crab.
Yeah.
Let's see right over it. Dick Cheney died.
Aunt May died.
Yep, Aunt May died.
Right there. And he showed me that. I got very upset with him. And then years later we were talking about it, and he goes, "It's not my fault you didn't know Aunt May died. She dies in all the comics." And I went, "What?"
Yeah, but but that's not really the same as her dying in the Spider-Man game, I would argue.
Otherwise, the game was great. But that's the main takeaway I had from it. I played it way later than it, like way after it came out.
Similarly, and I'll go ahead and tell the story just to shame the people who did that to me. Everybody knows how I feel about The Force Awakens.
Great movie.
Good movie, although somewhat ruined by what was the new one?
Rise of
Skywalker.
Ugh.
Somewhat ruined by Rise of Skywalker, but when I saw the movie, I was in high school. I was in my senior year of high school when that movie came out. And I was going to art class, and I had just booked my tickets to go, because that movie, you couldn't go opening day because it sold out so fast. So there were people who had seen it before you, because usually I see everything opening day. And I'm sitting in art class, and there's some kids talking about it who had seen the movie earlier. And they go, and so they're talking like very loudly about this movie. And I actually walked up and like, "I'm seeing it in like 2 hours. Please just don't spoil anything." They go, "No, man, we won't. We're not even talking about spoilers. We're just talking about how great Harrison Ford was in the movie." And then his friend looks up and goes, "Yeah, but I can't, he was great performance, except for when he died."
And that part wasn't a great performance.
No, that part really let him down, I
Yeah,
think.
he didn't do a good job dying.
Yeah, no, just awful job falling off the bridge.
Oh, man.
That was terrible. So, anyways, but my experience with the Spider-Man game, I've shared online before, but these videos, between you and me, are not long for this channel and will soon be booted over to the archive channel, which, if you're looking for any of my old stuff, it probably lives there. And we're going to try on this channel to be doing a little bit more gameplay stuff. Again, because I think that is an audience that is here and would like to hear some thoughts, but I need people who know how to play games to sit with me and play games for me, and then I can give my thoughts on them. So, but before those videos make their way over to the archive channel, I figure I'll give them a home here one more time. And here is the 5 minutes of me playing Spider-Man PS4 on this channel before we jump into Spider-Man 2. So stick around, and this should just demonstrate my relationship with this game. Alright, so day 2 of Spider-Man. Hopefully this time I know the controls a little bit better. It's really hard to play video games and talk at the same time.
Especially when you don't know how to play them?
Yeah, nobody told me that. Let's see what happens with it. I am 12% complete with this game. We're going to make it to 100. R1 rapidly. That'd be great if I knew which one R1 was. I could read these instructions. When I last left off, I was trying to catch the Shocker, but he's really fast, and I'm not. There we go. Okay. He's only 86 meters away from me. 56. All right, we're closing it. We're closing it. Nope, he's this way. Ah, shit. I'm going the wrong fucking way. Ah, damn it. All right, so it looks like if he gets over like 115 meters away from me, he wins. So far, every piece of this game has been a literal test to see whether or not I can play video games, and the answer is no. I will say the actual story I am enjoying. I do like the game. Fuck. You know what? No, I don't like the game. Fuck this game. See, I wish there was just like a skip mission button. This is exactly what I'm talking about with gameplay getting in the way. Busy work kind of thing. Nope, I'm doing much better. Come on, don't get away from me. Fuck. This is infuriating.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd have a hard time.
This is like the exact stuff that I don't like about video games. I'm fucking stuck on this now. I just want to play the goddamn game and get the story. Also, I feel like if I make Spider-Man go in slow motion, the rest of the game should also go in slow motion. I must have been on this level of the game for... You have to hit the circle when it tells you to also. So if he gets...
Circle when it tells you to?
Yeah, you're trying to catch the bad guy.
Is this a side mission?
This is like the main mission of the game. I can't do anything but be in this mission.
That's a problem. I don't know the controls.
Okay, so I did beat it, but I cheated. I set it to as easy as it could go, and that worked. So basically, that's how you play this game. Alright, so right off the bat, I am confused as to why I'm walking around taking pictures of art in the Spider-Man game. This is what Spider-Man wants me to do.
No, do take a photo, please.
What? I think I need to take a picture of this, but who knows, really. Oh, this is frustrating. I'm over this. Mary Jane can't run, I guess? It still wants me to get this damn thing in a photo. It was just telling me that I was a shitty photographer.
Let's move on, please.
I feel like I could just book it for that door, but the game's definitely not going to let me.
Wait a second, Craig.
But if I go back over here, you won't see me. Nope. Oh, maybe she will. Okay, she's coming. Which one's R? I don't know what R is. Nope. That just... shit. Well, this sucks. The Spider-Man's a straight-up murderer. Oh, no, he's getting back up. He's fine. Well, that's it for me. Okay. Am I back here again? Do I have to be Mary Jane again? Ah, shit. How'd they shoot through the ceiling? It doesn't make any... Alright, so day 2 of Spider-Man. And we're back. Sorry it looped again. I don't think anybody needs to watch that twice. But that would be my relationship with Spider-Man 1, the game. Great game. I'm just not a great player of the game. So maybe I'll be better at this one, but it seems really unlikely.
I'd be shocked if you were.
You know what you know what game I really want to play? I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's a great game.
Cowboy game.
You're gonna be so bad at
I'm
that.
gonna be
It's
terrible
frustrate
at it.
you so much.
Oh, it's gonna be good. Couple points that we were talking about while this was on. You hated the stealth mode. I thought that one of the things I really hated about the first Spider-Man game, and there weren't a lot of them, was that there were whole sections where it was like, no, you're just Mary Jane now and sneak around, would you? I'm like, but I want to be Spider-Man. And it happens pretty close to the beginning of the game. You were saying you hated that as well.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I think the only one of those where it was like, oh, this is kind of cool is when it was Miles, because
you had never played as Miles
playing
before.
as Miles, and like, I know who that character is.
I know who some of these people are. Spider-Man
like,
is in the game.
I thought that by the end of the game we were gonna start seeing him turning into Spider-Man, so it was kind of cool to see. Like,
you did see him turn into Spider-Man at the end.
Yeah, but
I watched it on YouTube.
It was cool to see, to like start playing as him before that happens.
Yeah.
And like as that happens, kind of.
And then another point we were talking about before we get sidetracked is we were talking about the crab rave, which got me thinking about, in the podcast days, I discovered Crazy Frog on the air. I had never heard of Crazy Frog.
You had never heard of Crazy Frog?
I had never once heard of the hit internet sensation Crazy Frog.
Love Crazy Frog.
And I was filming something with JJ and Jeremy, and they were like, "Do you remember how Crazy Frog had a dick?" And everybody was like, "No." And they were like, "Yeah, he does." And I was like, "I don't even know who Crazy Frog is." They're like, "There's no way that you missed out on Crazy Frog." And then we saw the classic here. Let's take a look at Crazy Frog. Come on.
This isn't.
He was the best guy around.
I don't think this is the big Crazy Frog though.
This is Crazy Frog a Ring Ding Ding. This is not the main Crazy Frog.
Yeah, I don't think it's the main Crazy Frog.
Okay, so. Well, is he gonna be exposed? Oh, he doesn't have one here. Well, there's something to uncover there. But then on the podcast, we were talking about that, and the crab rave reminded me of this. This is not going to be related to Spider-Man or literally anything.
I was just thinking about how we have Spider-Man 2 up there.
Yeah,
right
well,
under it is Crazy Frog. A ring ding ding ding.
It looks like the most intuitive gameplay I've ever seen. Crazy Frog revealed for Spider-Man 2. Have you ever seen this video?
No.
We watched this on Goddammit Hello. It's exactly what it seems like.
What's going on?
How do you feel about this? As someone who wasn't around for like early days of YouTube when something like this could just get popular, how does this make you feel that we sat around watching, like, when we were growing up, Dad would be like, "No YouTube," and then we'd like mute it when like my friends were over, and we'd like put this on. Not this specifically, because I only saw it for the first time on the podcast.
This is like what my friends and I do in our living room, or one of my
currently
basements.
Today.
Yeah, like not these type of videos, but like
we don't post them up.
Yeah. Well, the other day we were watching a video. We just looked up Xbox 720.
Have you ever seen this
to
gem?
try and find
No.
controllers.
Have you ever seen the Family Guy theme
Oh, I've
song?
seen the Family Guy theme song.
No, have you seen
Once or twice in my life.
Have you seen the kids' lips? This. Have you ever seen this?
Have you seen Chinese Man Catches Tree?
No.
It's the best video on YouTube.
Crazy Herman Productions. You've never seen this classic?
Theme song. Which one of them is Herman?
They kind of all look like Jeremy.
Yeah. I can see.
Anyways, you get the idea. But then what I really love about this particular video is that for a while on this channel there was a video about like where are they now? And it was like them
Sorry, this took almost 14 years.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, so 14 years later, they did like a Where Are They Now? The cast of Family Guy theme song lip sync. Anyways, all good things to watch instead of the Spider-Man 2 trailer. But maybe we'll get to talking about that now. You watched the PS5, the PlayStation highlight, right?
PlayStation Showcase or whatever they call it. I don't know.
And what did they... I know everybody was talking about Spider-Man, and like that was quite literally all that I was seeing on my feed was like, we're getting Spider-Man tomorrow.
There was like a couple games prior that were like kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the first one was called, but it was a big disappointment for me because they started it and it was talking about like... It wasn't saying Big Brother, but it was talking about like the idea of taking on Big Brother, which is the whole plot of Watch Dogs.
Right.
And I love Watch Dogs. And then it wasn't Watch Dogs, it was a heist game.
Sad.
And I was very upset.
And then they had Assassin's Creed, I know.
Assassin's Creed, which is...
There was no Metal Gear stuff, right? Why did I see Metal Gear?
There was Metal
Gear.
Around? They're doing... They like showed a Metal Gear remake and then like a Metal Gear, like the first 3 games remaster or something like that.
Oh, not like a new... Oh, yes, a new game.
It's not a new game. It's what it is, but it's a remake of an old game.
I see. All right, looking at it now. Yeah, I see that.
And
coming to PS5. I hope that it looks as blurry as it does in this image.
Me too. Love Metal Gear.
But obviously the star of the show was Spider-Man though. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
And like I saw a lot of people like because I went on because I heard that they unveiled this trailer and like for better even if I don't play this game, I want to see where the story goes. I never touched the Miles Morales game like as a player, but I loved that game and I watched it again as a movie on YouTube. So
I don't actually know anything about the Miles Morales game.
The story was very good. It's kind of short, like gorgeous looking game.
Well, that game started as a DLC,
right? No, that makes
sense.
sense.
They just made it into a whole game.
I mean, like at the beginning, you do one mission with Peter, and then like Peter leaves town,
does whatever he does,
and then and you get to play as Miles, and it's really cool. It's cool just to see like. One of the things I think is so interesting about Spider-Man right now is that when I was growing up reading comics, there were so many they tried so many times to phase Peter Parker out and introduce new characters because Marvel editorial hates Peter Parker for some reason.
Well, he's the worst.
Oh yeah, the absolute worst.
What do you like about him?
And they still hate him today, and that's why they won't let him get together with Mary Jane. It's very frustrating as someone who's read the comics for literally their entire life. But we've seen a lot of different people take up the Spider-Man mantle, including Ben Reilly, who is my personal favorite. But we've never seen a Spider-Man character be so accepted as Spider-Man as Miles is. To where, like, I have friends with kids and, like, they see Miles and that's Spider-Man, And that's really cool. Like, that's, like, a cool part of history that we're in now. And with the movie, and then especially I think that game was a big part of that. So one of my favorite things about this, and we're going to get into it in just a second. Wouldn't it be funny if I just kept saying, like, no, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
But not quite yet. We just
no,
but talk about something else first.
But one of the coolest things about that game was like, oh, it's Miles. And now this, like, they have you switching to Miles. So let's actually do the thing that we're here to talk about. And that is the Spider-Man 2 game. So as I was saying, when it starts, it doesn't start like a Spider-Man game.
When it starts, I was with all my friends in my buddy's basement, and it starts with just the dude walking through the woods, and we all groaned and went, how are they not going to show Spider-Man 2 for the last game? This showcase sucked.
Wouldn't it have been insane if, like me, and I don't know anything about any game, and I was expecting to see Spider-Man? Like, that would be like something Sony would do, like with the Spider-Man movies, like to pretend that they were about to drop a trailer and then not do it.
Yeah.
So when I logged on, I did it. That was how, I don't know how we got to Miles Morales, but when I logged on, I did it to see the clips from this game. I didn't watch the showcase. I couldn't find the showcase once I heard that this was happening. And so all I could find were people reacting to this. That was how I had to watch this trailer. So like I watched it with like a guy in the corner going like, "Ooh," or like when Craven was on, he kept going like he kept doing his Bane impression. I'm like, dude, just shut up. I'm here because you have a bootleg of the thing. So anyway, we're gonna watch it on mute, by the way, because I have played the game with Spider-Man content here for a long time. I know how they do things, and I'm not about to get copyright struck. I'm just not going to do it. I think we'll be fine playing it on mute, and we're just going to go scene by scene through this thing and just talk about our impressions. So the big thing that I love about the opening scene, I actually really like that it feels like a comic book. Like, you see Spider-Man on the cover, but when you open it, something else is going on because there's like a real world, and then it slowly leads to Spider-Man. Also, because I watched all reaction videos in in the afternoon that this came out, all of the reaction videos are people going like, oh man, there's Craven. And then like immediately they go, oh weird, he doesn't look like Craven. That's a weird take. And then he says, Craven's real name is Sergey.
Yeah.
And then he says like, "Oh, Sergey, you're not getting away from me."
Well, we heard him say that, and we all that's kind of when we all went, "Oh,
Craven."
Now I get it.
How many people were like, "Is that Craven?" And then he says Sergey, and they go, "Yeah, that's Craven." But you know what? Here,
We're switching sides.
We're switching sides because this way, when I look at you,
Now
we're
I'm
looking at each other. How about that? How about that, folks? Yeah, I thought that was so funny that everybody's head jumped right to like, this is Kraven. I also really like that it feels like a really famous Spider-Man story called Kraven's Last Hunt, which, if you don't know, features...
His last hunt.
It's, you know why they call it Kraven's Last Hunt?
It probably dies.
He kills himself at the end.
Isn't Kraven
He, what?
Isn't Kraven, like, can't he not die?
That's something that they bought about after the... So this book came out in, like, the late 80s, early 90s. They hadn't done that yet. So this is a really famous Kraven arc, but it features Kraven hunting the lizard, and Spider-Man in the symbiote suit is trying to stop him from hunting the lizard. And that is literally what is happening in this game, from the looks of it, except that Miles is in it, and I think that is pretty cool. I would love to see... I've been waiting for them to do a modern take of Kraven's Last Hunt in the movies forever. Like, I thought that No Way Home, had they not brought the other Spider-Man into it, would have been a great time to do that, because you could have had Kraven in there hunting him, thinking he was an outlaw.
Yeah.
But now they're going to do a spin-off movie with Kraven that doesn't feature Spider-Man.
That's a great idea.
Oh, awful.
Wonderful idea.
He's going to be a vegetarian. He's going to be an animal rights activist, and he's not going to fight Spider-Man.
Now, all that I could forgive, but if you have Venom be a father figure to Spider-Man, they're going to take him to the hospital.
No, they're going to do
for
that
not
too.
the spider bite.
Man, Madam Web is going to be the craziest movie ever. Because that's, if you don't know, that is there's a leak going around. We don't know if it's true, but the leak suggests that in the Madam Web / Venom 3 movie, a baby Peter Parker enters the Sony universe of spin-offs. And then in Venom 3, the Spider-Man Venom crossover that they've been teasing is that Venom is Peter Parker's mentor, and then Peter Parker gets bit by a spider.
They have not decided if it's the spider.
The leak literally says, we don't know if it's the spider. Like, that's like what the notes from Sony say on it. Insane. But anyway, and the thing is, like, the Kraven movie could be so cool, because, like, they're gonna rate it R, and, like, Aaron Taylor Johnson is gonna be Kraven, but it's like, I would love to see Aaron Taylor Johnson be allowed to interact with Spider-Man. Or, again, like, you have this whole universe set up without Spider-Man around Venom, who has spider powers. Like, why couldn't Kraven hunt Venom? Anyway, we've gotten off of the topic of the trailer again. So, back to the trailer. There are just too many windows open here, Ted. Way too many. Two talking heads. So anyway, this trailer comes out and everybody's saying, oh, that's Kraven, that's Kraven, that's Kraven. And then he turns around and let's take a look at it.
Oh, and there's
the real Kraven.
Found him.
And he looks great, I think. Like, I think he looks... This is like what I'm waiting to see in a Spider-Man movie. Because I love the Kraven character. He's one of my favorite villains. I mean, I love all the Spider-Man villains, but Kraven and Doc Ock are my two faves. Yeah, he looks awesome. Especially if you compare him to what we're looking at here. I mean, that looks like the same guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. My big worry is I saw what they did when they updated the original game, where they made Spider-Man, they went back and were like, oh, well, we have a popular movie with Tom Holland out right now. Could we maybe make Spider-Man look like Tom Holland? And then that's like, so then when you go back...
He doesn't even look like Tom Holland in the game.
Well, he didn't look like Tom Holland.
He doesn't even in the read.
Well, hold on, let's look this up, because...
They just redid his face.
In my opinion, not that he looks exactly like Tom Holland, because they didn't get the life rights, but if you look at this, I mean, that's much closer to Tom Holland. And I feel like, low-key, this is what they were going for, was to try to get a little synergy going and be like, look, We have Tom Holland in the game.
It's
you
like-
know Spider-Man
it's like-
from this?
It's like the opposite thing they did to Sonic. Just made it
Yeah,
worse.
they just went in it. So
What's the worst thing we could do to this design?
well, what I'm really worried about is this Kraven looks awesome, and Sony has a movie coming out where Aaron Taylor Johnson is Kraven, and let's take a look.
Well, even if they do redesign it after the fact, that like
You could
it's
still
gonna
no,
come
you could
out
just
like
not
this.
update the game.
Yeah, it's gonna come out like this.
Oh yeah, no, and I just like I know them. You know what I mean? Like I've seen how they've treated Spider-Man for a long time, in the way that I've covered Spider-Man on this channel. If they're gonna make a movie's gonna come out where Kraven looks like this guy, and that's fine because he's a great actor. But I know that then they're gonna go in here and be like, well, this doesn't look like the guy in the movie that we're trying to sell, and people love these games, so we got to redesign it to look like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm very worried that they're going to do that. But that's a nitpick, and for now, we can just enjoy that, look, it's Kraven, you know, and
Yeah.
also he, like, brutally murders this
I
guy.
really like how the fur looks.
Yeah, doesn't it
And
look
the
real?
hair.
I mean, it
I
almost...
feel like every game I play, hair is either like so incredibly awful,
Yeah, hold
or
on,
it's
let's
like-
take a look at that.
fantastic.
Yeah, that looks like a photo, like
Yeah.
at least of his hair. You can tell that he's an animated character, obviously, but like, I mean, isn't it crazy that like graphics have gotten so good that this thing has like, it has pores.
Like there's
Do
a
you
lot of
see
there's
that?
a lot of like games where you have to create a character, and
Yeah.
like, if you give them long hair, the way it interacts with the body of the character is it like floats off of the shoulders of
Right.
the character. It's really annoying. And
Well-
I and even some games where it's not a created character, you like just characters with long hair have that going on.
It's funny, like when movies figured out how to do like CGI hair, like Planet of the Apes when that first came out,
Yeah.
how eager they were to show you, like, look guys, we can do hair. So you'd have like an ape standing in the corner of a room inside, but his hair would be flowing in the breeze.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, because I guess you can't really do that in a game though because of how many frames you have to put in.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Kraven looks awesome. I think this whole concept of them going around and hunting Spider-Man or hunting Lizard or any of the elevated people in New York, great idea. And also, like, I like this little list of cameos that we get here. We'll pop this back up. Bear with me, folks. You got Black Cat, you got Wraith. Were all of these people in the DLC?
I don't know. I didn't finish the DLC because I lent you the game.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I never finished
You
it.
never
I never
finished
gave
it.
it back. I remember, I know Black Cat is in the DLC.
I think it's just Black Cat.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Wraith is a really cool character. Yeah, I think this is a great setup. Also, I love that music and it does remind me of The Dark Knight Rises, to be fit. That's, yeah, now imagine this is
Unfortunate
Aaron
pause.
Taylor Johnson. It does remind me of like The Dark Knight Rises, which is why I guess the guy I was watching kept doing his Bane impression. So you get like, bow, and then he's like, oh, it rises. But you know, that's not really the game's fault. And then, okay, so let's skip through this. Kraven. I just thought it was funny that everybody had the same reaction to it, though. It's like, is that Kraven? Oh, no, that's Kraven.
Ah, figured it out.
All right, now we're in Queens.
6 months later.
New York City, 6 months later. I love the idea that because the first game was Manhattan. I like the idea that we're going to get like an open world Queens game because I know that area a little bit better. So I think that will be cool. Also, this house looks very much like, I know this is probably Dr. Connor's house and not Peter's house, but it looks very much like the style of the neighborhood in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics.
This transition that they're about to do was like crazy for me
Are you talking about?
going into the gameplay, because I feel like a lot of games that show off during these showcases, they'll go, oh yeah, we're showing off the gameplay of the game, but it isn't the gameplay. It's just
It's
in-engine-
CGI.
It's just in-engine stuff. Like it's in-engine footage, so it's
Okay,
like,
so explain that to me because I saw that a lot on Twitter. Like people go, like as it was happening, people taking screenshots of Kraven and going like, well, that's an engine. Is it usually not both? Because that seems like what I would want to see out of a trailer, is like a little story and then some gameplay.
For like a concept trailer, I'm not looking for gameplay.
Right.
But when they go, oh, we're releasing a gameplay trailer.
Right.
And then the whole thing, you don't see any of what your screen is going to look like. It's not actual gameplay. It's just
CGI
they're trying to
creations.
make it look like it is.
Right.
That really annoys me. And I was, the whole time we were watching the beginning of the trailer, we were all going, oh, no gameplay though. And then that happened and we were all like, this is fantastic.
Point out where it is, because I guess it's after he jumps out.
Once he jumps
Venom.
out, you're able to control him. You can see the transition.
Okay, so wait. So he comes out. This is not gameplay, but this is how sweet is that?
This is still.
I am also so excited that, because it looks like maybe we'll get it in the MCU, you know, in Tom Holland's movies, because they left Venom there at the end. But like, you know, now we have a Venom that doesn't have Spider-Man. Like, I'm just really excited to see the Spider-Man arc where he gets the black suit.
Well, something I've been seeing is that people are saying that they think that Peter Parker is going to become Venom.
Oh, disagree. Why though?
Because of when I was talking to one of my buddies about it, he was like, "Oh, the eye movement on the roof and this, that, and the other." I'm like,
no, he's going to. Do they not know the story? Like,
besides any of that, I don't think they would do that because Venom is
a
villain,
right?
And they just gave us this mechanic of being able to switch between the two characters.
Yeah, but everybody outside of Spider-Man comics wants to pretend Venom is not a villain.
Sure, but I don't think they would take away control from you.
Right. No, I think
one of the characters that they've been going, oh, we're going to give you control of both characters. They're not going to take away that control for half the game because Venom is one of the main villains of this game.
And that's one of the coolest things I think about this trailer. Like, that was one of the big moments for me, was when they show you, like, look, you can switch to be Miles. Like, the gameplay implication of that is incredible. Like, to think about, like, oh, now I could be Miles. Now I could be Peter. And I thought that was one of the things that was missing in the Miles Morales game, is it's established that there are two Spider-Men, and there's the sequence at the beginning where they fight the Rhino and you can switch. And then that just goes away. So, but also, like, I don't understand why would Peter Parker, like, on one hand, I get, like, in the first game, Peter Parker is, his mentor is Otto Octavius, and then he becomes Doc Ock, and then Peter has to fight him. Like, I get that. And so there is, like, a world where, like, that's cool that, like, Peter is Miles' mentor, and then Peter goes bad and Miles has to fight him. But I think there's a line of how bad Peter can go. You know what I mean? Like, in a game, you have hours of content. Like, that was the problem with Spider-Man 3, was you couldn't do both Peter gets the black suit, goes bad, and Venom is in the movie in the span of 2 hours.
Yeah.
But in the span of however many hours you want, yeah, you can do that. I think more likely what's going to happen is Peter's going to be good, like, ideally good, but kind of like an anti-hero like he is in the comics. Because usually what happens is he still fights crime, but the suit amplifies his aggression and he gets more angry.
Just a real rotten egg.
Yeah, he's walking around...
with good intentions.
Walking around dancing on the street.
Oh.
It's terrible.
He's got that cologne.
Punching women straight in the face.
Got the cologne with a picture of him dancing on it.
That's right.
He sells before the movie comes out.
That's right.
Despicable.
Awful. And that's Venom. That's what this guy's about. Mainly dancing. No, so, like, then Peter becomes a jerk, and, like, he's the villain in the sense that, like, it hurts his real life. He's a jerk to his friends. He's not, like, a bad guy, you know? And then, by the time Venom comes out, and, like, the suit attaches to Eddie, he can't get any of his regular, like, superhero friends to help him, because he's been such a jerk.
Yeah.
Also, could somebody explain to me why... I've seen the theory that Harry Osborn is going to be Venom. I would imagine that they're going to save Harry for Spider-Man 3. Or put Harry in this game as Harry, and then make him the Goblin in Spider-Man 3.
Goblin's going to be in this game.
I don't think he's not going to be in it.
No, I think he's going to be in it as Green Goblin. I just don't think.
But you don't think it's going to be Harry? Like, is it going to be Norman or Harry?
No, I think it's going to be Harry. But I think that this is my prediction is this game's going to end with like unresolved with Green Goblin, and it's going to be the main deal in Spider-Man 3. But I also think that he's going to be a big part of the final third of this game.
I agree Well, I agree with all that because Norman was in the first game a lot.
Yeah,
you know, and it did end with them setting it up. But I think that they're setting that up to be the overarching trilogy. And this game is going to have Venom and Kraven and Lizard are going to be the main things. Or maybe they catch Lizard right at the beginning. Who knows, right? But Kraven and Venom at least, right? And Norman's going to be like an added element there. But I think Harry's going to be in it as Harry so that it's tragic when he becomes Green Goblin in the next game.
He's not in it very much in the first one as Harry.
Well, Peter thinks he's away. But really he's being experimented on in the lab at the end, you find out. So I think he probably comes back and is friends with Peter for this game so that it feels like a betrayal when he becomes bad in the next game.
Yeah.
But I don't know why Eddie Brock couldn't be... Like, why does it have to be Peter? Or I've seen theories that Harry becomes Venom is what I was going to say. I don't understand why it has to be one or the other. Like, couldn't Eddie just be in this game? You know? Like, and get the suit at the end? But anyway, he looks awesome, though.
I love the shoulder plate design there.
Like how it wraps around him. Cool. I also I love the texture on it. Like let's just watch when it comes out again.
The black spider on like the suits, any suit that's the black Spider-Man suit. Yeah, the spider looks so cool.
Look at how sweet that transition is too.
There, I saw something that.
Here's the gameplay.
Yeah, that's gameplay.
Okay.
That's about to be gameplay.
All right.
It's not gameplay until the...
We'll get there. Say what you're saying.
But, I've seen that... you have all the suits.
Right.
Each one's going to have a symbiote ability.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool, because... Do you think... I'd really love... Like, I know they did Sam Raimi suit and, like, Mark Webb suit as, like, DLC. Like, I'd love those suits to just be in this game. Especially now that they've like accepted that those are more part of the universe again, and like they're canon to every version of Spider-Man now. Like I think you could do those. Also, like it would be cool like if you could play in the Tom Holland suit and then see what the symbiote would look. Or like we're never gonna see Andrew Garfield in that universe, like with the symbiote. Like if the game could give us that, you know what I mean? But that would be awesome if they did do.
I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I just saw that was a thing.
I mean, they should. What would be the loss? You know what I mean? Even if you don't roll it out with the game.
I think it makes sense because each suit has its own abilities.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you add the
symbiote abilities?
And that's the whole idea of the symbiote too. Is it takes whatever ability you have and adds on to it. Okay, so it's about to switch to gameplay here. Right,
it's like switching. This is like the coming out of the cutscene.
Yeah,
now
and it looks pretty seamless. Game. Yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, and you can only really tell because of this stuff. The attacks with the symbiote too are insane. Like I can't wait to see Spider-Man fight actual Venom. I hope that's in this game.
Transition into the gameplay was a lot like the God of War remake.
Yeah,
or reboot,
right?
Soft reboot, whatever.
That's the one with Kratos.
Yeah,
I know things.
Yeah, but like something that a lot of people talked about with the God of War, Norse mythology ones, is that there's no loading screens in that game. It transitions from cutscene to gameplay.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Really seamlessly.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like.
Well, I could see that as a positive or as a negative.
We're seeing that more and more with these, and I think it's cool that that's what they showed off with the. Well, obviously, they're not going to show a loading screen. But
do you prefer that or
I think it's yes, I do.
Yeah,
but
because for me, who's awful at games, I need that minute to prepare. The
negative for that though is. The thing with God of War where they did that is there's no time jump or anything. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just we're in a game, right into the cutscene, right into the gameplay, right into the cutscene, etc. Like there's no real time. The only time jump that you have in God of War is when you unlock the fast travel
Right.
function. And then it said, oh, the time jump is you traveling.
So it's almost like you're in real time playing
Yeah.
the game. Yeah, I guess storytelling wise that's a little frustrating too.
But otherwise, I think that's a positive.
Well, I do hope to see that then. I also like just watching like people play the game, that probably a little better. I forget her name. Craven's sidekick is here. She's an important character. Here we go. I mean, look at him go. The action looks insane.
I want to the
That
look, webs and the
look at
everything
this.
Looks so, he also like fights so much like
Everybody's talking
more
like an animal.
brutal, yeah.
He fights like an animal, which is cool that they're bringing in then Craven as a hunter, like looking for a more animal version of Spider-Man. You know?
yeah.
I like this, like, because it's kind of subtle. Like, everybody's talking about how, like, the symbiote forms these blobs around him. Like, look at how brutal just when he lines, just the kicking, you know?
Wow.
That looks awesome. And then the voice acting, too. Is it the same guy who did the voice acting in the first one?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
I thought I heard somewhere that guy got fired. I don't know. He was great in the version that I watched. But this sounds like him. He sounds so much like angrier. Like you can tell the aggression. Yeah. And also like, I mean, Spider-Man just killed 4 people right there.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the big thing. I thought that this was so cool that like, you know, if you didn't have to name the game Spider-Man 2, Spider-Men would have been a good name for it probably. Like the comic arc where Peter and Miles first worked together. But that's awesome. And then I know we
all freaked out when we noticed that button showed up. It was like it was like a moment at a movie theater where everyone freaks out type of deal.
I mean, what a reveal too! Like switch to Miles, you know, like rather than it being like in
this
chapters.
Wingsuit looks so clean. Too.
I love that they bought Peter has that too later when they're on the lake.
Yeah, well, because they.
I mean, that's a classic thing from Spider-Man.
The thing about that first Spider-Man game is it's like one of the first Spider-Man games to get web swinging right.
Right.
And it feels so...
I would argue Spider-Man 2 does web swinging
That's
pretty good.
the only other one is the thing. And
yeah.
There's plenty of Spider-Man games.
Oh, yeah.
And even Spider-Man 2 for the PC does not get it right. It's only the PS2 version that has it right. And the web swinging in Spider-Man 1 is so great. And this looks so fluid and like fun to control. It doesn't look clunky at all.
It looks like you're actually Spider-Man. Like that's like when they busted out the wingsuit in Far From Home specifically, I think they did it a little bit in Homecoming, but it was like a set piece. Mm-hmm. At that final swing in Far From Home when he's like swinging from building to building and then he just goes to the wingsuit, it's like that was what Ditko and Stan Lee were like talking about when they first did this, that design. And then it got phased out because I think a lot of artists kind of didn't get the idea of like, well, why would Spider-Man fly? You know?
Yeah.
I also love that like when Peter is swinging, you hear like Spider-Man music, and then when they put Miles on, you get like a little lick like hip hop. Very cool. Just because like they have two personalities.
You know about the whole controversy?
Oh, I know. We're not going to get into it. What that reviewer said?
Yeah.
The exaggerated swagger. Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about that. But I do. The only thing that like I'm not wild about, and it's going to sound stupid, right? I was kind of excited to see red suit Peter, and I know we're going to get it because it was in the first trailer. But like red suit Peter Parker and black suit Miles. Like now we just have 2 black suit Spider-Men, and they do kind of look similar.
Well, you
can change the suit, yeah. But I would imagine that like story-wise, he's going to be in a symbiote version of whatever suit you get.
Well, that suit that they give Miles and Miles Morales, where I think it's just the movie suit. It's like but it makes everything stop. Like, takes away some of the frames and clunks it up a little bit. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a nitpick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care that much about that. It just like would have been cool to see more of that. But honestly, that's fine. This is very reminiscent of the part that I played of the first game.
This bit is really cool, where we have the ability to shoot the
web out of the middle of the web.
First just shooting to there.
Yeah.
because that wasn't a thing before. And
Oh yeah, the tightrope walk. This right here, I thought was awesome.
This is really cool.
I mean, I could easily see getting sucked into this for hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know.
When I played the first one, all I did was play Spider-Man. I came over from school and I played Spider-Man.
I mean, how many people I know that like told me like, oh, I like to fire up Spider-Man and just swing around. I don't even play the game. I just swing.
Yeah.
Man, look at.
I
love that they got Venom Blast in there too. Like
I always really liked the Spider Sense little UI thing.
Yeah, the way that they use Spider Sense in the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of games give you that little sense thing over the head to tell you when to dodge.
Yeah.
And
I like that. It's part of the story.
A lot of the time, there's no reason for it.
Right.
It's just there.
I like that they gave Miles a butt crack. Big fan. Big fan of that.
Huge fan.
I also, another funny thing, because again, the way that I had to watch this was watching people react to it. How many people saw Genki come in the robot suit, which is about to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what they all said? They go, Vulture. And it's but it's
that's not what we did, and then everyone complained that it was Genki, and I went,
what's wrong with Genki?
Why are we surprised that it's Genki?
Well, also, Genki is a pretty big part in the second game, and I love Genki. Like, I mean, Genki is like what Ned is based on.
Yeah.
More than the actual Ned leads from the comics. I like that, like, they've gotten a lot of Miles's world from the comics right, especially because the comics, there he is, Genki.
Vulture.
Yeah, that's Vulture,
That's
right
Vulture.
there.
That's Michael Keaton.
See how there's no body there?
See how Michael Keaton's right there?
See how Michael Keaton is there and Morbius is about to say intriguing? Did you see Morbius?
No, but I know the end credit scene.
Oof, no good. The big thing that like I appreciate about that Miles game and now like Genki being in this game and Miles actually getting to be a character is that like the Miles comics had such a promising start when he first debuted, and Marvel just has said, because they don't want Peter to grow up, like, and they don't want Peter to like get married or like not have loser problems. They won't progress Miles anywhere, because if Peter doesn't go on, then Miles has no interesting stories to have.
Yeah.
You know? So like they're stuck with Miles being in middle school usually and sometimes high school. And it's like, we've been doing this now for almost 10 years. Let him grow up and like, because you have all these great characters who could have really good arcs, but they don't have them because they just don't want the story to progress. And it's really frustrating because then you see things like Across the Spiderverse and like this game, and like, look, they're all 3D characters who do things and like can be a part of the story. Like even when Genki says to Peter like, "Oh, Mr. Parker," and he goes, "Oh, Spider-Man," is like, "Oh my God, Genki is like a character," you know? And like he hasn't been. Also, I love that the lizard sheds. I love Liz. His legal government name, Liz.
Lizard looks so good.
He does. That looks sick too. Like I love that they did like the tendrils thing with that suit.
I should go with the tendrils.
Do they say that in this?
They say that in the water chase.
Okay, that was sweet too. And that like I've been.
So cool.
What's cool about the water chase, and we'll get there as well. This is Genki talking to Peter, which I thought was so cool. And again, like characters that like in other mediums we don't see, like we don't really see Genki interact with Peter in the comics or anything. Yeah, awesome. I mean, but again, they do look similar there, you know?
I like that the little spider sense was above their head. I didn't notice that before. It's above their head in the cutscene.
Yeah, like in the comic book.
Yeah.
And I like that Lizard just like looks like a straight up dinosaur. So this whole area here, I know this area very well. These docks over here in Queens, and it looks very accurate. I used to have a friend who worked on a boat over here.
We were watching it, and one of my buddies lived in Queens growing up, and he goes, "We're going pretty far here. We're going all the way out to Long Island."
LIC. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, this looks amazing. Like There was an Onion article when the first game came out, and they just made the headline like, "This realistic portrayal of New York is only ruined by a colorful red and blue crime fighter." Like as if the game was a New York City simulator.
Yeah.
And like Spider-Man was just in there for some reason.
What? Why did they put that in the simulator? That's weird.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
But it's like, this does look like Queens simulator. Like it
Yeah.
looks like Queens.
We gotta get a Long Island simulator. See our house.
No, we don't need a Long Island simulator. Long Island itself is a simulator. Nobody needs it.
True. I think that fire looks dumb.
Yeah, but Miles crawling on the roof of that boat looks awesome. Peter also kind of looks like he's flying a little bit, but that's okay. We're about to see the web wings again, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
In a second.
There we go, Spider Sense, and oh yeah, and then like I love the voice acting here. Again, I'm not going to play it because but where he's just yelling at the thing.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. That's sweet.
That's really cool.
That's like reminiscent of Amazing Spider-Man 1, the ending there.
That reminded me. I feel like I'm just waiting for the fan service moment when I play the game, like they had in the first one, where he stops the train and then
like in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and then he goes, "It was a lot harder last time."
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I mean, and also like I'm interested to see, because even since that first game came out, like at the time of that, the Tom Holland movie that there wasn't two, but there was Tom Holland first movie, and there was Andrew Garfield, but like people generally talked about how they didn't like those.
Yeah.
And then like the Tobey franchise was beloved. And now the attitudes of like the Spider-Man fan base have shifted so much, and like people like the Amazing Spider-Man more now. Like I wonder if that's and obviously there have been two other beloved Tom Holland movies. I wonder how much they're going to factor into like fan service and what gets into the game, if at all.
Yeah.
I also I love the idea here that like Peter, although more angry and more powerful, like is not being careful or smart, and like Miles has to say like, watch out, like look what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, it just looks so cool. And like I hope that in this sequence you can switch between the two of them too, like as you're playing. I think that would be sweet.
Yeah. Water's a really hard thing to get right in games. I'm curious to see how
if they can do it
out in gameplay.
Well, also like the Spider-Man suits, like hard to make them look wet. You know what I mean? Like when you come back up.
True.
Like I mean, I guess that looks kind of wet.
See, that doesn't look good to me, the water.
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks kind of like CGI.
But that's always a challenge.
I will say about this though, like I'm waiting for the day. Like
this looks really cool. Though.
This looks sweet. Like with this is again like that Rhino scene. I can
forgive the way that the water looks in this, because I think this is a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. I mean Lizard jumping out to try to get him. I don't think Lizard is going to be in this game that much. I think he's probably like a villain close to the beginning, like just one mission. What's really impressive about this is like in movies we're still waiting to get a Spider-Man action sequence that is nearly as good as this. And we've gotten close. Like I would argue that the train scene in Spider-Man 2 is like on this level. And I would also say Far From Home, the bridge scene is, we get there in scale, but like we've never been able to do something where it's just like this mass destruction, like Peter trying to save a city, or Peter and Miles in this case, where it's like we get a good scale of like how big everything is, and we get like really nice visuals with it. Like this is like a dream of like what could be in a Spider-Man movie, Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that these games exist, just so that people can like see like this is the potential of like what you can do this, and even like think about what this is like. All movies are now is CGI creation, like it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I like that they stopped them by, obviously working together. That's cool. They should have called the game Spider-Man. Fish Market, I've been over here. And again, did you see the thing that guy posted today about this shot?
No.
Hold on.
Spider-Man.
So here's the shot, and now let's take a look. Does this look familiar to anybody from last time we saw Peter and Miles working together? That's the same shot.
Yeah.
I think that's again. So now we're talking about like fan service and what might make its way into this movie, into this game. This was a very popular movie, like that a lot of Spider-Man fans hold in high regard, and here, like that's very similar, you know, especially because it's the same two characters. I think that's cool. And again, I love the dynamic here of just like Peter's kind of a jerk now, you know, like they understand what the comic is, and like I've been waiting to see this story in any scale. Also, he does look wet there. Oh, they gave Peter a butt crack too. That's good. Good.
I like here.
Which Spider-Man? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That they make an implication that Genki has never interacted with Peter Parker before this.
Right, and he probably hasn't.
He goes, is he normally like that? And Miles has to go, never. What's I don't know. Like,
they've probably never. Excuse me. They've probably never met.
I like that implication that that's the first impression he's getting is symbiote.
Yeah, he's Peter being just a jerk.
Yeah.
You know. I'm so excited. Even if I don't play the game and like I don't own a PS5, I probably won't buy a PS5 just for one game. But we might try to cover it here. So I might, you know. I would like to get some video of this up. Because again, I try to cover all things Spider-Man, and this is a very significant piece of what Spider-Man is in the pop culture right now. So obviously I want to cover this game. I would love to live stream some gameplay of it. I don't know if it's going to happen because I'm not a game guy, but I would like to bring some of that in. But if I was ever going to play a game, this would be the one. I mean, look at how great everything looks here. I am like, this is more exciting to like, we have a Spider-Man movie around the corner, and like, I know that this is going to get overshadowed really quickly because apparently Across the Spiderverse is very, very good. We're only just hearing the first reactions now, and like I've been very mixed on like my expectations for that movie because I love the first one, but I've talked about how like there's some patterns with Sony and like Spider-Man 2s specifically.
That's what I was talking about today with some of my buddies, is that Sony has a bit of a history of just jamming a bunch of things into a movie.
Well, do you know there's 280 characters in this movie? Like,
just seeing what sticks, and one of my friends was like, I'm kind of concerned about how's this game gonna balance Kraven, Venom, Lizard, and maybe Green Goblin, all his major characters. And I went, well, they did it in the first game. And he goes, yeah, but these three characters didn't really feel like they were on the forefront. And that's like that's true. They had different spots, and all these three seem to be having bigger spots than.
Well, and also what's interesting about these characters is like Kraven, they've put in Sinister Six before, but you don't usually see them working together with other characters. Like Green Goblin is always front and center. Venom is always, and there's like a lot to explain with each of these characters.
Yeah, well, I think that what will help is that this isn't a movie.
Right. No, you could do.
This is going to be a probably 20+ hour game.
Right. And that is the better thing. And also, like, Insomniac is not the same as Sony. Like, Sony's the distributor, but Insomniac wrote and made this game. I mean, even at 6 hours, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to handle 3 Spider-Man villains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when you're trying to do like a 2.5 hour movie that you run into trouble. 20 hours, you should be able to do 4 or 5 villains. You know, hopefully, you would think. And they also, like, I don't think Lizard is going to be that important in this game. I think he's going to be a device.
You're saying 20 hours, you should be able to do 4 or 5 villains. 20 hours is like maybe 3 hours of cutscenes and
right, and then gameplay.
17 hours of gameplay.
Right. Well, in a 3-hour movie, you should also be able to do 3 villains.
Unless it's a Metal Gear game.
Right.
In which case, it's 17 hours of...
You bought a movie. You bought a really long movie.
You bought a really long movie.
And every now and then you gotta hit a button.
Every now and then you gotta be a little stealthy.
I don't think Lizard is going to be in it that much, though, so I wouldn't worry about that. I think probably what's going on here, if I could predict, because Peter does say, like, Connor's the only one who can help, I bet you Peter and Dr. Connors are friends. Dr. Connors is going to help Peter investigate the symbiote, and Craven starts hunting Lizard, and that's how they get into it with Craven.
What are the chances Dennis Leary is in this?
Slim.
Gwen Stacy's dad.
Slim. I would say you have better chances of Dennis Leary being in... I would love it if Dennis Leary came back to Spider-Man, though. I would say you have better chances of Dennis Leary being in Across the Spider-Verse, because Gwen is actually in that. But, I mean, you had to have Gwen first, right?
I guess
So, and I think Gwen is already dead, maybe? What's the sitch? Like, is Green Goblin a thing yet? No, right? But Peter's been Spider-Man for a long time, and he hasn't met Green Goblin or Doc Ock or Venom. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know? I guess Kingpin kept his hands full for the first couple of years. Yeah.
Kingpin was keeping them all in check. That's what he says right at the start is, you don't know what you did. You just did.
Oh, that's interesting.
You don't know
I'm gonna
what
have
you
to
just
go back
did.
and watch it again.
You're unleashing everyone. That's why
That's
the
why
Sinister
you
Six
meet all
show
of the villains in that game.
because Kingpin was keeping everyone in check.
That's cool. Wow. All right. Good stuff. So I'm gonna go. Sorry. Oh no.
Oh dear.
We messed it up. I'm gonna go ahead and give the game. The game. I'm gonna rate the game right now before it's even out.
Game's a 10.
I'm giving. It's a perfect 10. Don't at me.
10. It's not out yet, but it's the best game ever made.
I'm giving this is an A+. Like, as far as like something that would get me excited, especially because I don't get excited about games like that. This got me so psyched that like we're sitting here even talking about it right now. This is an A+.
Well, I'll tell you the first thing I said after we watched the trailer was, "Oh, I guess I'm buying a PlayStation at the end of the summer."
I'm strongly considering buying a PS5, like just to play this game. I don't,
I wanted,
but I'm never going to be into games, so it's a problem.
Yeah.
All right, Ted. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Of course.
Folks, if you want more Spider-Man content, I am your guy. Not only do I talk about pop culture, movies, TV, and a lot of different stuff on my YouTube channel, including a coming video about how badly AMC sucks right now. I also talk a lot about Spider-Man. I put up this video today about... No, it's not a trailer for The Blackening. Sorry, libs. Got it, me. I put up this video today of the Spiderverse Whopper at Burger King. We had a fun little time with it, but I cover all kinds of Spider-Man stuff. I've been covering the Across the Spider-Verse movie very closely, covered No Way Home as that was coming out. I make a lot of stuff about it. I'm going to be getting into comics soon. We're also doing our Summer Movie Live podcast right now. So far, we've reviewed Guardians of the Galaxy and Fast X. This Sunday, we'll be doing the new Little Mermaid. And I also just make a lot of really cool stuff, like this documentary on Denny's, or this one on the Green M&M. So
I hate to break it to you, but Denny's doesn't exist.
Denny's exists,
It
baby.
absolutely does not.
Go watch
They
it.
made
It
it up.
shouldn't.
They made it up for the Santa Claus movie.
All of those stories and more, please consider going and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Give this video a like. Tell the algorithm that you would like to see more of this. And thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. Hope everybody found this informative. I'm Oliver the Ricketts. This is my brother, Ted.
Yeah, even.
And we'll see you at a later time. Goodbye.